Okay, for part 4 of chapter 25, what we're looking at is field induction and Tesla coils. Just this last little part. So what is field induction? Okay, so the idea is that Faraday's law, in general, says that a changing magnetic field will induce a changing electric field in space. So it was inducing a current to go through a wire, but it could just make an electric field out in space. And then there was this guy named Maxwell who came up with a corresponding rule that if you have a changing electric field, that will induce a changing magnetic field in space. So let's say you've got a radio antenna over here where the electrons are being forced to go up and down, up and down. That will produce a changing electric field. That's what the pink is, or that's what's producing that moving of the electrons. And that corresponds with a magnetic field, the blue, that's being produced at the same time. And so the electric field goes out into space and the magnetic field accompanies it, and they recreate each other as they go along. And so you end up with electric fields and magnetic fields, and that is an electromagnetic wave, and that is radio and infrared and, of course, light. Okay, so we'll be covering more of that in chapter 26 on electromagnetic waves and light. Okay, so a little bit just about history again. Here is Tesla, a statue to him, which is at Niagara Falls, because his first big power plant that he built was at Niagara Falls. And this is showing his rotor here, or stator. And so what you've got is some coils of wire. Right, here's some coils, and they spin, and there are more coils. And so you've got coils and coils, because instead of having permanent magnets, you can have the magnets made from electricity to start with. So, why do you have to have permanent magnets when you can have electromagnets? So this is Tesla's brilliant plan. So anyway, so he would generate electricity using the power from Niagara Falls. And here he is. He always, when you see him in pictures, he's usually reading this book. It's a biology book, but it's the only other famous scientist to come from his country. And so he would honor him by reading the book when people wanted to take his photo. Anyway, Tesla tried to make energy available for people. He didn't take much money, as much as he could have, out of the company. I'm not sure if he really tore up his royalty contract, but he definitely was interested in getting people to have electricity. So anyway, so he did have 1,000 horsepower, which is 746,000 watt generators at the fair, and it lit it up brilliantly. And there was the first Ferris wheel at the fair, which is why Chicago has a Ferris wheel. It's a great big one, kind of like the London Eye, in which they've now recreated on Navy Pier, is one that has compartments that you can get into, instead of just being a chair out in the open. So Tesla produced what's called the Tesla coil, which is a transformer with an air core instead of a metal core. And it can take 120 volts and get up to be like 1,000,000 volts. And Tesla would get up to 100 million volts. So you can see these huge arcs here. And remember that each arc, it's 30,000 volts per centimeter. So if you have an arc that is 5 meters long, okay, then that is going to be 500 centimeters times 30,000 volts. And you can see you're getting up to some really good numbers there, right? And here you can see the arc all the way across his lab. So anyway, so Tesla did try to produce free power for people, basically. Remember, he was interested in that, like the phone charger, that wireless charging. And the idea is your lights would just work without being plugged into anything. And so he built this giant tower to spread energy out to people. He was going a little crazy by this time. He spent the last of his fortune on it. Unfortunately, then it was either hit by a hurricane and burned, or burned and then hit by a hurricane. Anyway, but because he was sending out radio waves, he eventually was acknowledged recently as the inventor of radio, because he was trying to send signals out to the people. Okay, now, if you ever get a chance to go to a singing Tesla coil show, it's lots of fun, but there are lots of them on YouTube also. So I'll put some links so you can go there, or just put singing Tesla coil into YouTube, and you'll get lots and lots and lots of different singing Tesla coils, because they make a buzzing sound. And so you get 2 of them, and you got bzz and bzz, and you can make beautiful music. Anyway, and then people put on shows. This is a very old show. This guy is surrounded by a cage of wire. Nowadays, remember that music video with the with all the cool physics in it that you were supposed to watch. And in there, they're putting on these silvery outfits, right? Well, those are modern cages. And what that does is it shields you from the electromagnetic field. And so remember, we talked about shielding before. So metal surrounding you shields you from the electromagnetic waves. They can't get in. And so what people do is, like, if you want to protect a radio from an EMP, an electromotive pulse from a nuclear bomb, you could put it inside a metal cage or a metal toolbox. Okay. However, it's not going to protect you from 5G. That's already out there, and it's not harmful. Okay. So anyway, people are fools. They put their radios inside a cage. Well, guess what? You're not going to get any information from the radio, because the electromagnetic waves, the radio waves from the radio station, can't get in. Okay. So anyway, so that's what the shielding thing we talked about in previous chapters can be turned into. It protects your device. Okay. All right. So that's the end of the chapter. And we've talked about everything. Chapter 25, electromagnetic induction. Okay, see ya.